Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This is the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is the canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
Room since that trial started earlier this week and has the latest. Matt?
Tom, after 2 days of testimony and about 4 hours of jury deliberations, Francine Martinez wept quietly as the verdict against her was read.
This is 2.5 minutes of brutality.
2 years after Aurora police officer John Hobart was caught on body camera video badly beating a trespassing suspect, now former Aurora police officer Francine Martinez was found guilty of not trying to stop the attack.
We, the jury, unanimously and beyond a reasonable doubt, find the defendant, Francine Martinez, guilty of failure to intervene.
On July 23, 2021, Martinez responded to a call for trespassing on South Parker Road. Within minutes, another officer, John Hobart, repeatedly pistol whipped and choked the suspect, Kyle Vincent, while Vincent cried out for help. At one point, Hobart also pointed a gun at Vincent's head. Vincent was unarmed the entire time.
She's right there.
Prosecutors say Martinez stood by during the assault.
I agree with the law that officers should intervene when another officer gets out of line, start abusing citizens, start, abusing their authority over people. I call it perceived authority because they don't have authority over you unless you're under arrest. But I agree with this law, but it seems to me that the law is taking the punk route and not holding male officers accountable. Everybody that I've seen that actually held officers accountable were female officers. I haven't heard of an instance where a male officer held a fellow officer accountable. They usually back the officer and say they had nothing to do with it, or they just mind their business or go along with what their fellow officer is doing. Now, if you look at the size difference of the female officer and the male officer, as she had intervened as enraged as that male officer was while he was beating on the citizen, he would have knocked her on her ass. Or he probably would have done what the sergeant did to the female officer who pulled him off a brother when they had him in custody, in cuffs in the back of the police cruiser, and a sergeant was about to mace him because he was talking. Talking is not a reason to mace someone. Mace is supposed to get you off a violent assailant if someone gets violent with you, not because you don't like what someone's saying. So it seems as if they're taking the punk route with enforcing this law. I agree with the law wholeheartedly. Every officer should intervene when they see a fellow officer getting out of line, especially putting their hands on citizens being violent.
despite her legal obligation to intervene in cases like this.
And if this isn't the case, where someone had a duty to intervene, then what is? Is there such a case? If that's not it, then why are we here? Why is there a law that prohibits it and requires intervention?
But Martinez's lawyer argued the opposite. He said Hobart attacked Vincent quickly and without warning, giving Martinez absolutely no time to intervene. The defense.
I don't believe that there was no time to intervene. Officer Martinez took the job. She went through the academy and got the bullshit training that they give the officers. They don't train them or teach them the law as law enforcement. They give them the training and send them out with an FTO for a few weeks. And then they're out on patrol, out in the streets, out in society, dealing with life and death situations with perceived authority. They want people to listen to them and obey them. This is what you get when you're out here as a police officer and you are clicking in the rank and file.
Defense also argued that Martinez and Hobart were involved in a fierce fight trying to arrest Vincent and that there was no safe time for Martinez to intervene.
See, she was trying to arrest him and trying to assist her fellow officer instead of assisting the citizen. When she seen the officer handling the citizen that way, she should have intervened. Even though more than likely dealing with the size difference and the rage he was in, he probably would have knocked her on her ass also. But she still, as an officer, even if she has to use the necessary, like she would do any other person, especially a fellow officer, she may be ostracized or she may be looked frowned upon. But on TV, if an officer is aggressing a citizen violently, you have everything on your belt to assist you to get somebody off someone who's harming someone and can potentially kill somebody. When you seen that fellow officer pull his gun out and put it to the head of a citizen, she was supposed to draw down on him. Period.
The DA says she's just standing there the whole time. You know that's not true.
Now, defense attorneys who defend police officers are the most despicable people on the planet, because they will see a videotape of a cop murdering someone or beating someone, and they'll try to deflect and they'll try to twist it and tell us that we're not watching what we're watching. We're not seeing what we're seeing. They have a law in place that officers must intervene when a police officer is out of line and are not acting in the confines of the law. And this person is trying to defend an officer who violated her departmental policy.
She is actively
Not only departmental policy, is a state law.
participating in this struggle, yet they want to hold her to this impossible standard. They're asking you to do something superhuman.
Officer John Hobart is a big guy. He's a good 260 pounds, at least. You see the size of this guy compared to Officer Martinez. She couldn't have pulled him off nobody. She should have called for backup in all actuality, because she couldn't have pulled him off that citizen.
Clearly, the jury disagreed, finding Martinez guilty of failing to intervene. Her sentencing was scheduled for June 2nd. She faces up to 18 months in jail and could be permanently barred from becoming a peace officer in Colorado. Tom?
This is the first case. We will see if and when there are more to come. Thank you, Matt.
Do what you got. All right, Matt, I'm just going to start off by letting you know that I am not. No, that's the one in the car. Get in the car. All right, I'm getting in. Get your feet in. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You want to play games? You play with the wrong one. You gotta do, man. You gonna make.
See, the sergeant's telling a man who they have in custody to.
Is it right to you remember?
It's me, Mason.
Look at me.
You want to play games? You ever get disrespectful with my officers? I will remove your soul from your body.
They're telling a man in custody to look at him so he can spray him with mace. And the man's in custody, hands behind his back in cuffs, being placed in a police car. And instead of them just letting the man, taking the man to prison, jail, arresting him, taking him to the headquarters, he wants to assert himself and spray the man, do something violent. See, this is the nature of this wicked beast. And a coward, a punk-ass coward with perceived power, this is the way they behave. Because in any other circumstance, his punk ass, without the weapons on that duty belt, he would not even approach the man he's putting in back of that car. He won't even approach him. He'd be scared. But he's so tough with a man behind his back in cuffs being placed in a police car. He's so tough. See, this is their nature.
Do what you got to do. Don't ever touch me again. Sir. Get the fuck.
Now, this female officer did what the law requires. Intervene when she seen her superior officer, her ranked officer, the sergeant, who's supposed to be the example on the scene, the supervisor, behaving unbecoming of an officer. He was supposed to be the example. If there were officers behaving crazy on the scene, doing too much, he was supposed to be the one who tell them to calm their ass down. But he's the one who's pulling up on the scene after they had him in custody, wanting to spray somebody with mace.
We clear? Yes, sir. And I'll see you in about 5 minutes.
This is the other point of view where you'll see the female officer pulling him back, and you'll see him put his hands around her throat and choke her, all because she was doing her duty and she was following departmental and state law by intervening. Now, when he attacked her, the officers around him were supposed to place that sergeant under arrest for assaulting a woman. He assaulted a woman in front of fellow officers.
I'm somewhere. I'm right here. Look, can you stop putting the handcuffs on my wrist? God, you don't listen. You're not stronger than me, man. I'm letting you know that.
All right, let's go. We're gonna take a seat.
Watch your head getting into the car. Ah, miss, can you stop putting the cuffs?
Just get in the car and you'll be fine.
Get in the car. Get in the car. Put in the car. On my wrist. Once you get in the car, she'll let go. So what you said,
So just get in the car. All right, just get in the car.
You gotta just tell her to stop.
Okay, get in the car.
Get in the car.
Just get in the car.
All right, I'm getting in. Get your feet in. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You wanna play games? Play with the wrong button. You gonna make me make you. You wanna play games? You never get disrespectful for my. Go for your phone. Do what you gotta do.
No.
Come on.
Just let it be.
You clear? Yes, sir. And I'll see you in about 5 minutes.
He's a piece of crap for that. He's a piece of crap for that. He grabbed a female by the throat, pushed her back, and got totally angry because she did what the law required her to do. Now, there's laws passed and there's departmental policy that the police must adhere to. And they do it, they thumb their nose at the camera. They'll break the law right in front of the camera. The reason why they break the law in front of the camera is that if one of us sue them, it doesn't affect the department. The money come right out of our pocket, the citizens. If I win a lawsuit against a police department, the citizens pick up the tab, not the police department. It doesn't come out the police department's budget. And we need to have that law changed. It needs to affect them, personally. It needs to affect them officially, because that's the only way it's going to stop. And they're even trained and they're even taught this. They'll say, sue me, because they know it's not going to affect them. The only way you can get, you can affect a police officer if you sue them in a civil court. If you sue that department, it's coming out of our pockets. So we need to write our legislation, our legislators, and have that law changed and start suing the insurance company that insure the police department and make that police department a liability. Because if enough lawsuits come out of their insurance company and the insurance company has to start paying people, that will make that department a liability and they will have to make changes. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.